So it's pretty crazy for me to think about it, but at this point in my life, I've been playing guitar for half my existence. I've been playing for 14 years, which means I started when I was 14. From day one, I was all in. And you know, from there, once basically I hit 15 and on, I discovered guys like Yngwie and Jeff Beck and Stevie Ray, just a lot of guitar virtuosos. So I started playing guitar for 6, 7, 8 hours a day, every day, you know, which took over my life, and things like school and you know, just hanging out with friends. Some of that stuff started to kind of lack just because I was so obsessed with this piece of wood. And then from there, I basically went through high school, graduated somehow, and then started teaching in a guitar shop. And at some point, you know, in my early 20s, I decided, I think I'm going to attempt to make an album. So I was writing lots and lots of music, and I just decided one day that I'm going to go into a studio, record an album, and self-release an album, my first record, which was Public Display of Affection. And then from there, I just kept going. I kept persevering. Being an independent musician nowadays too, it's such a confusing and open-ended world. You can kind of approach it however you want. And I just thought, if I'm going to do this, I have to kind of go all in. As far back as I can remember too, there was always music being played in the house. No one in my family is musical, so to speak. No one plays an instrument, but there was always music, rock music, pop music, jazz. It didn't matter, it was always on in the house. I can remember, you know, my dad, even from like me being 2 years old, I could hear Robert Plant screeching, or I could hear Tony Iommi playing a guitar solo. So as I got older, I was just almost like bred to be a rock musician. It was just from birth. And I started to discover more guitar players, and I got into guys like Eddie Van Halen and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Yngwie and Jeff Beck, who really influenced that kind of blues side of my guitar playing. But as I got into writing, I realized I wasn't writing like a traditional guitar player. I wasn't really, first of all, I didn't have lyrics, so they weren't traditional kind of like rock songs. And I was kind of, I wasn't really interested in just writing with traditional like diatonic harmony or like kind of blues progressions. I wanted to bring in classical and jazz and movie score kind of approaches and harmony. And I had to kind of go out of my way to find that stuff. One guy I've always been really influenced by is a composer named Bernard Herrmann, who did a lot of the music for Alfred Hitchcock. Just the tension and creating moods and just really being experimental and creating a concept with a melody. Or, for example, in The Shining, how they basically create murder with strings. You know, there's that stabbing scene, of course. That to me always blew my mind more than anything. Usually when I'm writing or working on music, it'll just be me with an acoustic guitar singing over chords just to kind of get a solid melody, and then I'll take, you know, all of my influences and see what I can do with maybe the chord changes or how to build the song, the arrangement. I remember going into a guitar shop and seeing Schecter guitars on the wall, and I didn't really know much about them, and I didn't really have an eye for some of those guitars because they were they were in a completely different world from what I was used to. I wasn't really ever a metal guitar player, and I kind of only knew Schecter as Keith contacted Schecter on my behalf, and we talked about maybe using some of their stuff. And I had a chance to check out what was a black version of this guitar. Not my signature guitar, it's just an off-the-shelf traditional model. And I got it at my place, and I picked it up. And I had been used to playing a really high-end, another S-type guitar from a famous company. And it was a killer guitar, and I played it for years and years and years, and I thought it was perfect. When you're on the custom shop realm, when you compare it to other custom shop guitars, they're all amazing, but it's just like little tiny details. And this kind of has something special going on. There's magic in this guitar. And I remember seeing the guts of this guitar when I was at the shop, took the play. It was like a work of art inside the instrument. For me, it just works. And I've used a lot of high-end guitars. Something about this instrument, it just works beautifully for what I do. I've been extremely fortunate getting to do what I've been doing with Schecter. Them taking me out and doing these guitar clinics, and all the support they've given me, and you know, obviously it's a huge honor to have this guitar, let's be honest. Being the first ever custom shop signature artist. Yeah, in the future, right now I'm getting ready to release a new album. The new album is going to be coming out in September with Gavin Harrison and Brian Beller as the band, which is going to be hopefully very cool. I think people will dig it. I use this guitar into a Friedman amp basically for the entire album. And then hopefully do some touring on the back of that, more clinic stuff, keep writing and playing as much as possible. You know, I think about the future and what might happen. It's extremely exciting because that's how I've always looked at it, is from day one. You don't know what's going to happen, you just do your best, and hopefully you present opportunities by putting yourself out there. Hello, Gold Music and Italy. It is amazing to be here. It's my first time in your wonderful country. So yeah, it's a huge honor to be here, and I hope to meet as many of you guys as possible, and for you to check out my new guitar and talk about guitar and gear and music and eat a lot of food together. See you soon.